On today's First Talk, the Lakers are back in the headline, and this latest report might just be one of the biggest steals of the offseason, if it goes through. According to sources close to the situation, Los Angeles is ramping up its interest in a potential sign-and-trade deal for a versatile guard. And let's just say, this could fly under the radar, but not for long. So here's what was brought up during the segment. Quentin Grimes is the name being floated. Not exactly the most expected name when talking about Lakers rumors, but the panel brought some solid insight. Grimes, only 25, showed flashes last season with stretches where he looked like a legitimate scoring option, both starting and coming off the bench. The First Talk crew debated a proposal originally discussed in league circles. Grimes to LA in a package that could include Dalton Knecht, Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, and Shake Milton, with Kelly Oubre Jr. possibly joining Grimes on the way to the Lakers. At face value, that looks like an aggressive move by LA. But let's be honest, it might be smarter than it looks. From a basketball standpoint, Grimes brings exactly what LA has been lacking on that second unit: a punch of offense and a willingness to defend. One of the panelists pointed out that while his stats, 14 points per game last year, might seem a bit inflated depending on the system he was in, they can't be ignored. He was efficient, aggressive, and showed enough off-the-dribble creation to suggest there's more upside left to unlock. Another key part of this deal, it would be structured as a sign and trade, reportedly for around 4 years, $22 million, a price point that was described as sneaky team-friendly by analysts on the show, especially when you consider what other rotational guards are getting paid in today's market. Now the potential loss of Knecht is significant, and there was some back and forth about whether or not Hachimura should be included in any deal. Most agreed. Rui likely stays put. The Lakers aren't eager to give up that much just to land a scorer like Grimes, but a Knecht plus assets framework? That's a lot more realistic. Of course, all this came with speculation about the Sixers' willingness to engage, especially if they can pick up young talent and balance their cap. It was noted that Philly may ask for a future first or a swap, but the Lakers still appear to have enough flexibility to get something done if they really want to. And let's not forget the wild card. Kelly Oubre Jr. joining Grimes would give the Lakers an even greater spark off the bench, particularly in transition and spot-up scenarios. Both players are capable of creating their own shot and could provide immediate depth for a team that's eyeing a serious playoff run. Bottom line from the panel today? If Rob Pelinka and the front office can pull this off without parting with Hachimura or a top-tier asset, this could quietly be one of the better moves of the offseason. A depth-focused, financially sound play for a team that's trying to compete without blowing up its roster. Back on First Talk, the conversation heated up as the panel dug deeper into the potential acquisition of Quentin Grimes by the Lakers. Now, what made this segment so compelling wasn't just the trade mechanics, it was the debate over whether Grimes' recent production justifies the rumored asking price. The discussion centered around Grimes' dramatic rise with the Sixers. When handed a larger role during a stretch where Joel Embiid and other key pieces were sidelined, Grimes thrived. He averaged 21 points per game, played 34 minutes a night, and essentially carried the offense. But, as the analysts pointed out, context matters. Philly was missing key offensive weapons, and someone had to step up. Whether that level of production is sustainable in a reduced role on a contending team like the Lakers is the real question. Even so, the panel agreed. If Grimes can contribute 10 to 15 points per game off the bench, it could be a strong addition for Los Angeles, especially considering the Lakers' bench has lacked consistency. From that angle, the potential sign and trade deal becomes far more appealing. Then came the financials. According to reports discussed on the show, Grimes is looking for a deal in the $25 million per year range. However, the Sixers have reportedly been hesitant to meet that price. The Lakers, on the other hand, are rumored to be exploring a 4-year, $22 million offer, slightly below Grimes' target, but still a healthy payday for a 25-year-old player with upside. The show highlighted how such a deal could align well with the Lakers' timeline. Grimes would add youth, shooting, and scoring depth alongside established stars, and, depending on his development, could even push for a starting role if his defense improved. One analyst brought up an intriguing connection: Grimes' prior experience with J.J. Redick. The two worked out together during a Team USA minicamp in 2023, before Grimes had his breakout stretch in Philadelphia. Redick reportedly praised Grimes as an easy guy to coach, and the chemistry between the two could lay the foundation for a smooth transition to the Lakers. Beyond the basketball fit, the front office side was also a topic. The panel made it clear Rob Pelinka is working the phones and watching the market closely. If Philly continues to resist giving Grimes the payday he wants, and if LA is willing to absorb it, there's a very real window here. And that brings us to the asset exchange. Most agreed that if the Lakers could pull this off without giving up Rui Hachimura, it would be a win. Dalton Knecht, salary filler, and maybe a second-rounder or pick swap seems to be the package gaining traction in rumor circles. From Philly's perspective, that's a reasonable return for a player they may not want to pay long-term. Roster-wise, this would address a clear need. The Lakers' starting lineup is solid, but the bench remains a concern. Gabe Vincent hasn't made the impact many hoped for, and while Jake LaRavia adds intrigue, he's still unproven. Max Kleber, Bronny James, Jordan Goodwin, there's potential, but a lot of question marks. Grimes, meanwhile, has already shown he can score in bunches and could develop into the kind of two-way threat LA has been missing. One of the panelists closed with this thought: pairing him with someone like Luka in the long term, or plugging him into a LeBron-led roster now, adds significant versatility, especially if the Lakers can secure him on a manageable contract. The takeaway? This might be a rare chance to buy low on a player with high upside, and with J.J. Redick in the building, the fit could be smoother than people realize. Wrapping things up on First Talk, the Lakers continue to make moves, not just on the trade front, but behind the scenes as well. One low-key but potentially impactful development brought up by the panel today was the hiring of Justin Robinson to the team's player development staff. Robinson, who most recently served as Director of Player Development at Duke University, is the latest addition to the Lakers' growing internal infrastructure. While this isn't the type of move that grabs headlines, the show emphasized just how meaningful these strategic hires can be for a franchise building through youth and depth. For context, Robinson had been with the Blue Devils since 2023 and played a role in guiding 3 players into the lottery in the 2025 NBA Draft. That track record doesn't go unnoticed, and his transition to the NBA comes at a time when LA is placing an even greater emphasis on internal growth. The panel highlighted the value of adding someone from a program like Duke, one that consistently churns out NBA-ready talent and demands accountability at every level. Beyond the resume, there's also the legacy. Justin Robinson is the son of Spurs Hall of Famer David Robinson, and that basketball DNA, combined with his development experience, brings even more credibility to LA's staff. The group pointed out that with a young core including Bronny James, Dalton Knecht, Colin Castleton, and Maxwell Lewis, this type of move mattered. These aren't just end-of-the-bench guys anymore. The Lakers need to develop reliable contributors, and someone like Robinson could quietly play a significant role in doing just that. Again, it's not the kind of news that dominates the A-block, but as one of the analysts said, these are the foundational moves that build sustainable success, especially when paired with a head coach like J.J. Redick, who values growth, detail, and development just as much as game planning and rotation. So, while all the attention might be on Quentin Grimes, Bradley Beal, or whatever the next trade rumor may be, this subtle addition to the coaching staff might pay long-term dividends for the Lakers. That's going to do it for this edition of First Talk. Drop your thoughts. Should LA go all in on the Grimes deal? How do you feel about the team's off-court strategy heading into the season? As always, we'll keep an eye on every update and bring it straight to you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.